Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chiranjit Mishra. I wish you all a very happy new year. I hope so far you have enjoyed this new year. So let's start today's new today, that is of January 3rd. And as it is customary, let's go through the headlines first. There are 14 news items in total, 5 important news and 9 minor news. And a good thing is that many of the news articles are interlinked, primarily related to India's manufacturing and export sector. Okay, so even if they're complex looking, it'll be easy for you to go through. Without delaying, let's go through the news items. So in the main news, the first news article is about electronics component manufacturing scheme, because India wants to boost its capability in manufacturing the smaller electronic parts rather than just electronic devices. So far, India has been an assembling nation. The second news is about export promotion mission. 2 credit linked schemes launched. That means MSMEs which want to export their products are facing numerous challenges, and the primary challenge of which is getting affordable loans. The third issue is related to Indore. I think all of you are aware of this urban drinking water crisis in which several people died, which is very unfortunate. Let's go through what are the challenges and the possible tools and ways to curb this problem. The fourth news is related to importance of geoeconomic crisis in geopolitics. Geoeconomics in geopolitics. Okay, so geopolitics is all about making or coming up with foreign policy and strategies to deal with nations which are important because of their geographical proximities. But now it's not just old geopolitics. A new frontier has been opened, and which is geoeconomics, taking into consideration economic interests in dealing with nations across the world. The last news is Center issued notice to social media platform X, previously known as Twitter. The many obscene content created and circulating across X platform. So the MeitY, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, has sent strict warnings to X. Let's go through briefly the 8 minor news. One is about galaxy frogs, a species found in the Western Ghats. The second is about red sanders, and the theme is access and benefit sharing with regard to using red sanders as a resource. Third is about India-Pakistan nuclear non-attack agreement. Some information exchange has been made both by India and Pakistan, the two sides of this information transaction. It's very interesting also. The fourth news is about pharmacovigilance database. That means pharmaceutical vigilance database. How India is keeping track of the drug manufacturers in the country. The next news is Board of Trade. How state governments presented their problems related to the export sector. For example, what MSMEs are, another related news. How MSMEs are facing challenges with regard to meeting quality standards which have been set by different global bodies. The next news is BPAN, which is actually sort of an Aadhaar number for batteries, that is EV batteries, lithium-ion based batteries, and the theme is circular economy. Okay. The next news is about a bacterium called Staphylococci, which is taking advantage of the growing rise in air pollution in Delhi. Okay. So the particulate matter in a way aid the movement of Staphylococci inside human body, and which is further contributing to antimicrobial resistance. The last news is about Pragati, proactive governance and timely implementation. Without delaying, let's start with the first news. Okay. The first news, as you can see, is Electronics Component Manufacturing Scheme, that is ECMS, and its 2.0 version. So as you all know, as in the beginning I mentioned, India is known for manufacturing electronic devices. Okay, and China is the leader in exporting electronic devices and other electronic items. But what India does is that it borrows electronic constituents, for example, printed circuit boards, motherboards, capacitors, and using these electronic constituents, it manufactures devices. That means we are not doing everything from A to Z. Okay, so as you all know, for example, this is a printed circuit board. There are many capacitors and other electronic constituents. Neither the printed circuit board as a whole nor the electronic constituents are manufactured in India. These items are borrowed from abroad. Now you may ask, what is a printed circuit board? See, I am sure that plenty of people must be very curious about what lies within electronic devices, but very few of you must have tried opening mobile phones and laptops. Whatever you get to see within a laptop and a cell phone are electronic components. And you must have come across motherboards, PCBs, okay? They are used in computers, cell phones, and TVs, okay? LED TVs. So these items are manufactured in Taiwan, China, or South Korea. India borrows those items and then we assemble them together to manufacture electronic devices. Now tell me, don't you think that increases the input cost? To lower the input cost, Indian government is pushing this scheme which is called Electronics Component Manufacturing Scheme. Okay, so now everything is going to be indigenously produced. In a way, it is also good for the security of supply chains. We don't have to rely upon the Far East. What if a war breaks between China and Taiwan? India will suffer because many of the items that India imports will not reach in time. There will be delay in manufacturing. Okay, so to get rid of all these problems, India has come up with this scheme. Let's go through the key features, the aim of the proposal. So what it aims, as I've mentioned the entire story, the broader story, let's go through the nitty-gritties. Boost domestic electronic component manufacturing, you all know, reduces import dependence, supports Atmanirbharta, of course, everything is going to be indigenously manufactured, and last, strengthens electronic supply chain. Everything explained, okay? About the ECMS, the total outlay is 22,919 crore, okay? And the total outlay, but the amount is going to be used in small chunks. For example, this is the third chunk of the outlay, okay? Third chunk. Notified April 2025, the target components ho gaya kya? Sub-assemblies, capital equipment, okay? India's position in the electronic sector, if you take a broader look, you'll think that everything is hunky-dory, everything is okay with India's electronic sector. As I said, India has been doing good in assembling electronic devices, but not producing everything from A to Z, okay? World's second largest mobile manufacturer, undoubtedly China is the first, okay? China ka rank hai first and India comes second. Exports grew to 3.27 lakh crore, which is again good. But because we have to meet this ambitious target of $500 billion ecosystem by 2030-31, that is why we are promoting ECMS, okay? That's all about this news, nothing else. The second news is export promotion mission. Government unveils 2 more credit-linked schemes. As I said in the beginning, the first news was related to India's indigenous manufacturing sector in electronic field. Now this particular news is about boosting India's export potential. And as you all know, that total nearly 40 to 45% of the total exports are ascribed to MSMEs, that is micro, small and medium enterprises, which is very surprising. The name indicates something very counterintuitive, that these are small and medium scale industries. How come they're contributing so much to India's export sector? But it is the reality. 40 to 45% जो exports होता है इंडिया में, that is from the MSMEs. But the MSMEs होता क्या है? MSMEs तो जान गए, there are certain criteria, turnover और investment को लेके हुए, which was revised in the last union budget. But these industries are also suffering in a manner. They don't have enough money to meet their day-to-day requirements. Okay, for example, paying salaries to their employees, buying raw materials to produce goods. अगर यही नहीं हुआ, क्या होगा? फिर पहला हो गया, this is called working capital. Working capital. And working capital क्या होता है? The amount of money that you need to meet your day-to-day requirements. यही पूरा करने के लिए they don't have enough money. And when they approach banks, banks say no. Banks मना कर देते हैं. Banks say no. Why? They don't have faith in the potential of the MSMEs. That is why the government intervened. Government ने बोला, it is our responsibility to convince the banks to lend you money. And how is it possible? How is it possible? How is it going to be possible? By two ways. पहला है credit guarantee. Bank is going to guarantee the banks that in case the MSME industries or factories fail to pay back, we are there, we'll give you money. The government is convincing whom? The banks. Number two, interest subvention. That means this is what the government is saying to the MSME factories or industries. Ki MSME factories, you can start your manufacturing without losing faith in your capability, and you think the interest rates are very high. So you don't have to pay that much interest. We are going to cut down the interest rates, okay? And you may think if the interest rates are lowered, the banks will suffer. No, the banks will get their money. Only that the interest rate will be lowered for the MSMEs. Jitna bhi kam kiya gaya, for example, if they charge 10% interest, the bank charges, government has told the banks, ki bring it down to 7%. The 3% that you lose, the apparent loss, will be met with. That is our responsibility to give you the apparent loss of 3%. Okay, so you have to lend the MSME industries at a lowered interest rate. The apparent loss is our responsibility. Okay, तो दो हो गया इंटरवेंशन, एक हो गया क्रेडिट गारंटी, दूसरा हो गया इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन. Let's go through the nitty-gritties again. Two new credit-linked schemes announced under EPM, that is Export Promotion Mission. Okay, EPM. Interest subvention हो गया and credit support. Focus on MSMEs and export competitiveness, because if India really wants to keep or continue making its mark in the export sector, they have to support the MSMEs. Schemes valid up to 2020-21. अभी 6 साल तक है, because it was introduced in 2025-26. Part of India's long-term export growth strategy and reduces cost of credit and lending risk. Everything has been explained. If you want to understand the terms and the standard terms used in this particular news article, you can go through, pause the video. This will actually help you in value addition, in enriching the quality of your mains answers. Okay. The next slide, as you can see, Niryat Protshahan, which has been highlighted in yellow. Niryat Protshahan is actually the Hindi translation of export promotion. Export means Niryat and Protshahan means encouragement, promotion. Okay. So pehla is 2.75 interest subvention. That means agar 10% is the normal interest charged by the banks, 2.75 will be deducted from that 10%. Okay, so the bank will now charge 10 minus 2.75, which is equal to 7.25%. अगर 10% था initially, ठीक है, तो बाद में ये हो जाए कितना, minus 2.75%. Ultimately 7.25% charge करेगा. Now the MSMEs will be happy. The interest rate has been lowered. Okay, but you may think that the banks are going to be unhappy. No, the banks will get the same 10%. The government will give or will compensate for this apparent loss. Okay, covers pre and post shipment export credit. That means pre and post shipment matlab before the goods are manufactured, for buying raw materials, and once the goods are ready. दोनों stage के लिए there is this support. Extra incentive for underrepresented export markets. For example, I am an exporter and there is another exporter, but my intent is to explore those countries where India normally does not send its goods. A new export market, because the government's aim is to diversify export markets. Okay? Why? Again, if a natural calamity happens or a war takes place, the exporters are not going to suffer. क्योंकि destination change करना पड़ेगा. Okay? So if you diversify the markets, then you'll be in an advantageous position. Okay? That's why it's often said, don't put all your eggs in the same basket. तो ऐसा जो करेगा, government will further promote such an MSME industry. Okay? Annual interest subsidy cap of 50 lakh. Agar I have tremendous manufacturing potential and I can manufacture plenty of goods meant for exports, that means I'll get uh, a large subsidy amount. You may think so, but the government has set a cap. Keep per exporter, the maximum subsidies or benefits under the scheme is 50 lakh rupees. उससे ज़्यादा नहीं मिलेगा आपको. It cannot be infinite. Okay? एक्सपोर्ट मिशन लॉन्च कब हुआ था? ये लॉन्च हुआ था नवंबर 2025 में. 10 years मेंशन इन द बिगिनिंग टिल 2030-31. आउटले इसका टोटल यही है. ये भी इट्स नॉट अ वन टाइम पेमेंट. इट विल कीप trickling in installments, okay, for MSMEs particularly. Okay, that is all about this news. That is the first scheme, as I said, interest subvention. अभी आगे दूसरा क्या हो गया? दूसरा हो गया आपका कोलैटरल सपोर्ट. ठीक है, कोलैटरल सपोर्ट. इसमें क्या होगा? जैसे मैंने बोला था, every time you take a loan, you have to put a material, anything like which has a substantial aspect, say your house or any other asset that you own, you have to put as a mortgage. In this case, there is no requirement of any kind of mortgage. Okay, no mortgages because the government is the guarantor. Government ये बोलता है कि banks, you don't need to keep any assets from the MSME exporters. If they fail to pay you back, we are there to back you up. तो इसमें क्या मिल जाएगा उनको? 85% for micro and small exporters and 65% for medium exporters. For example, if they have taken a loan of 600 rupees, ठीक है, 100 rupees loan है, and it has been taken by a micro and small exporter, and if he fails to pay back, इसका 85 rupees बैंक पे कर देगा, गवर्नमेंट पे कर देगा to the bank, and medium अगर होगा तो उसका 65 rupees. ठीक है. Now we have reached the end. Let's move to the next news. Time is very precious, and I hope you understood what the news is all about. This is actually one big irony that Indore, being the cleanest city of India, experienced this unfortunate event. Several people died after consuming contaminated drinking water. And the CAG submitted a report in which it cited that there are many lapses as urban drinking water quality assurance is taken into account. Okay, that means due to rapid urbanization, many cities, just like Indore, they are not able to maintain drinking quality water standards. Okay, so this is the news. Of course, a direct question may not come in the mains exam, but one of the challenges of urbanization, the UPSC may ask, what are the emerging challenges of rapid urbanization in India? You can cite this example. Okay, so let's go through what the news is all about. Again, this is important from the point of view of GS paper 3, environment, pollution. पहले वाले दो भी थे from economics. Same GS paper 3. Okay. Drinking water contamination triggers health crisis in Indore. Sewage mixing exposes urban wastewater management failures. Of course, all the pipelines are underground. Drinking water also takes the underground route, and sewage water transfer, जो drain पानी जाता है, गंदा पानी, that also takes the groundwater route. What if the pipes overlap or there is leakage from one pipe? Both the pipes are leaking. The water will get mixed, and that will result in contamination. You can go through this thing. There is nothing to understand here, but one important fact to memorize, which you can insert in your mains answer. Daily basis में million liters per day. MLD का full form है million liters per day. Urban wastewater generation इंडिया में कितना होता है? 72,368 million liters per day. Sorry, annually. Into 365 कर दो, जितना हुआ उतना प्रोड्यूस होता है वेस्ट वाटर. And how much of that is efficiently or effectively treated? That is the most important challenge. Wastewater generation is not properly treated. Okay. Health impacts क्या क्या हो सकता है? 72% of the wastewater untreated discharge into water bodies. These two facts you can insert in your mains answer. Okay. You have to memorize, of course. There is no logic in it. Health impacts क्या हो सकता है? All the bacterial and viral diseases like cholera, typhoid, Vibrio cholerae and Salmonella typhi, and diarrhea also is a resulting associated condition, dysentery, hepatitis A, which is viral in nature. Polio is again viral. So these are the risks or waterborne diseases associated with uncleaned or untreated wastewater, which interferes or mixes with drinking water. Treatment systems क्या हो सकता है? On-site systems and off-site systems. This is also a challenge. What happens in India? We try to maintain a centralized treatment system. ये एक polluting body है. These are the polluting bodies. And these polluting bodies, they have to transfer their wastewater to this central hub. And at this central hub, the wastewaters collected from all these entities are processed. This is common. We have to use a pipeline here. We have to use in this. This is very, very, very complex. For example, a large city like Indore or Delhi or Mumbai, you can imagine if the pipelines underground are not well maintained, what will happen? That is why a good suggestion, which will come across in the next page, but I'm saying that beforehand, decentralized अगर कर देंगे हम कि ये जो industry polluting है उसी के पास में we can set up an industrial waste treatment plant so that we don't have to bother about the long pipelines. Similarly, अगर यहाँ पे है तो we can install a waste treatment plant near this, another waste treatment plant. We can decentralize the entire process rather than depending upon one central hub. Okay? नेक्स्ट पेज में चलते हैं. सॉल्यूशंस क्या क्या हैं? डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड वेस्ट वाटर ट्रीटमेंट, जो मैंने आपको बता दिया अभी. Enforce zero liquid discharge norms. That means not a single drop, a zero drop of water which is untreated, which is coming from the industries, should enter the normal, what you can say, the wastewater pipelines. That means before entering the pipelines through which they are moved away, they have to be treated, the wastewaters. And this is, there comes in the concept of zero liquid discharge. Okay? Zero liquid discharge. Okay? Again, you have to regulate landfills. Landfills are also a problem, waste management problem. In Delhi NCR region also, you must have seen piles of wastes lying at the outskirts of the cities, and they're not being taken care of. Okay, they contribute to other sorts of pollutions. Integrate water quality with HMIS. Again, this is health management integration information system. It's a database or portal with day-to-day activities related to wastewater treatment are maintained in this database. Okay, so we have to integrate into this database all sorts of data related to wastewater treatment. Promote nature-based water treatment solutions. This is a very sustainable solution. That means using ponds and wastelands, there are many plants and living organisms which can consume the waste material in the water. It's a natural way to treat affected or polluted water. That's all about this news. No direct questions have come from this particular article in the past. Okay, that's why I could not come across. But pollution as a topic is very important from the point of view of both prelims and mains. Next topic is geoeconomics, the new frontier in international politics. Okay, geopolitics क्या होता है? Geopolitics is the study or the practice of coming up with one's own foreign policy, taking into consideration the geography of that particular place. For example, India's foreign policy was earlier based on China and Pakistan. Why? Due to geographical proximity. But that was in the past. Now we are living in a modern age, modern era. Here, geopolitics cannot be solely framed on the basis or practiced on the basis of geographical proximity. If that would have been the case, then tell me why US is so bothered about China. China doesn't share any border with the US. Or Russia, yes, of course, they meet near Alaska. But what about China? So China is seen as a rival by the US because of its economic progress. And it sees China as a rival in the field of geoeconomics, or geoeconomically China is a rival. Okay, but Russia is a geopolitical rival. So that is the importance of geoeconomics in geopolitics. Now the problem here is that India so far has been focusing on maintaining relations with regard with its neighborhood countries. India had not come across this uncertain situation which it is currently facing because of the whimsical steps taken by the United States government. अब क्या होगा कुछ पता नहीं. Okay, because of soon after President Trump came into power, the relations have witnessed ups and downs. So this shows a very uncertain picture because India's bilateral trade with the United States is very high. With China, it is very high. In the case of US, it is in India's favor. In the case of China, it is in China's favor. But both the countries currently are not reliable partners, as you can see. So that is why India has to rethink. Why? Because India has an emerging economy. It is currently the fourth largest economy. It has surpassed Germany. Last year it surpassed, a couple of years ago it had surpassed the UK. It is now at number 4. Now it has a emerging economy. It wants to make progress in the field of defense. Okay. It wants to make progress in the field of digital electronics. And what else? Clean energy solutions. And ये सबके लिए what do you need? Raw materials. Starting from cobalt, nickel, silicon, copper, and there is a concept called critical minerals. Okay. To make or to continue its economic progress, India needs critical minerals. Though India has plenty of natural resources, unfortunately we have not explored the reserves of all these natural resources. For example, mathematically, अगर हमारे पास 100 resources हैं, हमने अभी तक explore कितना किया है? Just 25. 75% of the resources have not been explored. Why? Because our economy is import dependent. And कहाँ से मंगाते हैं? From China, RE आता है. From other parts of the world. We also are dependent for nuclear fuel called uranium because we are not exploring and exploiting our thorium reserves. These are critical minerals and India needs critical minerals from across the globe. अगर रिश्ता सही नहीं होगा with China and US, so how will India make progress? How will India be in a position to import such critical minerals? There comes geoeconomics as a part or a new frontier in geopolitics. Okay, now let's go to the news. आप समझ चुके हैं? This is not like a one-time event. कुछ हो गया जैसे इंदौर में pollution हो गया. This is something which is a cumulative effect. Many things happen on a daily basis, and what impact can these many events have on India's geopolitical and geoeconomic interests? Okay? हुआ तो आपको समझ में आ गया इसमें कोई हाई टेक्नोलॉजी सेंट्रल टू मॉडर्न जियोपॉलिटिक्स जैसे मैंने बता दिया क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स हो गए बिकॉज दे ड्राइव योर डिजिटल इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स दे ड्राइव योर क्लीन एनर्जी टेक्नोलॉजी सिस्टम्स एवरीथिंग इज डिपेंडेंट अपॉन हाई टेक्नोलॉजी ठीक है और ये जियोपॉलिटिक्स का इंपॉर्टेंस है क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स वाइटल फॉर एनर्जी एंड डिफेंस इंडिया फेसेस इंपोर्ट डिपेंडेंस एंड पॉलिसी डिलेज जियोइकोनॉमिक शेप्स स्ट्रेटेजिक global relevance needs R&D partnerships and mineral diplomacy. Now India again also lags behind China and US in terms of R&D. India spends less than 1% of its total GDP in R&D, while China and US spend nearly 3 to 4%. That means 4 से 5 गुना ज़्यादा वो spend करते हैं of their GDP, not India's GDP. तो वो और ज़्यादा हो गया, उनका GDP तो इंडिया से ज़्यादा ही है. That is why India is still an import dependent economy. That's why we have to maintain good relations. We have to diversify our import markets. Okay. Again, the concept of don't put all your eggs in the same basket. And एक और recently क्या हुआ था? There is a concept which the United States has come up with, Pax Silica. The US along with several other nations and 3 of the Quad members, excluding India, has come up with this new pact called Pax Silica. That means to procure silicon from different parts of the world without depending upon China. But India is not a part of this Pax Silica, so India felt left out. That means India considers itself as not that reliable partner of the United States as Australia and Japan are. Okay? Again, it poses a new risk. That is why India needs to find new partners. India's geo-economic challenges क्या क्या है? 25 से 30% mineral potential explode. I said in the beginning, 1/4 ही हुआ है अभी तक. 100% import dependence for lithium. Although we are trying to, we're trying to get closer to a few countries in the South American region, like ABC, which is called the Lithium Triangle, Argentina, Bolivia, and Chile. We have already signed pacts and we're trying to use lithium based in South America rather than being dependent upon China. Now again, a couple of years ago, it was in the news that in the J&K region, lithium reserves have been found. लेकिन that is just on paper. हमने अभी तक उसको explore नहीं किया. Okay? That's why India is not exploring. India is not exploring its mineral potential. R&D spending just point ये तो हम already कर दिए. And bureaucratic red tapeism, which is a perennial point for all your GS mains answers. कुछ भी होता है, you can add this as a subordinate point. Okay? Okay, तो way forward क्या क्या हो सकता है? Strengthen geo-economic partnerships like SCRI, Supply Chain Resilience Initiative, which India has already signed with Australia, Japan. Global Biofuels Alliance, again, if you want to use your biofuels imported from abroad, you have to be a part of this alliance. OPEC का alternative है. If you want to bypass the oil producing nations. Fast track India, Middle East, Europe corridor. Again, transportation of the critical minerals, secure trade routes and energy interests. So in a way, the last 2 points are related. Okay. I hope there is nothing difficult to understand in this part. Everything easy to comprehend. Previous year question एक आया था. I have highlighted this point. This year ही आया था 2025 में. India is a resource-rich country in all the 30 critical minerals that it has identified. How is it possible? If they're critical, that means India is not self-sufficient. देखते ही पता चला कि this statement is not correct. Last important news, which is related to Center and Platform X. As you all know, this is an interesting piece of news, and because it's also doing rounds on social media, Platform X, which was previously Twitter, is using a technology, a model which is image generation model, which is called Grok. And using Grok, many obscene images have been generated, and they're doing the rounds. That is why it has been Platform X has been warned by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology कि as soon as possible within 72 hours remove all the obscene content and start thinking of a long-term strategy to make sure that such a thing is not repeated. And X has accepted its mistakes, and it has accepted that there were certain lapses in content generation and circulation. खत्म news और कुछ है नहीं. And this news is important from the point of view of GS paper 2. Just like the last news, geoeconomics in geopolitics वो भी international relation का part है, and this is related to governance. Okay, the last two news are important from the point of view of GS paper 2. Let's see what happened. मैं तो already बता ही दिया हूँ आपको. Center issues notice to social media platform X. Okay, it has been taken care of, and 72 hours time or deadline was given to X. MeToo flags misuse of Grok AI tool, a tool which is used in image generation, and image generation in this case was related to many obscene and unwanted content. Okay, obscene AI generated images of women and children. Issues flagged: non-compliance with Indian IT laws, failure of due diligence obligations, violation of women's privacy and dignity. Remember these points. Okay, last time also 6 months ago there was another issue related to content regulation of an online, or you can say a reality show which was run on YouTube by another YouTube influencer. Okay, so the Supreme Court also intervened and reprimanded the ones involved. Similar issue, legal framework पे आप ध्यान दे सकते हैं कि कौन से sections of the IT Act were in use or had to be roped in. 66E for punishing privacy violations. 67 हो गया, penalize obscene electronic material. What if match the following question is asked in the prelims? There will be sections on the left side and the provisions on the corresponding provisions on the right hand side. You have to match. 67A covers sexually explicit content. Section 67B address child sexual content. Now if somebody has a retentive memory or somebody wants to put in effort to memorize these points, it will work well. You'll always get bonus points for mentioning the articles or provisions precisely. कोई सिर्फ लिख के चला जाएगा कि these are the provisions, but if somebody mention the sections, the examiner will certainly be impressed. Okay. IT rules क्या होगा? Rule 3 mandates removal of unlawful content and Rule 4 imposes obligations on major platforms. The three important legal frameworks. एक तो IT Act हो गया, एक IT rules derived from the IT Act, and the third one is Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which replaced the Indian Penal Code. Okay, you can pause the video and take note of all the points. इसमें there is nothing to understand. Personality news है क्या है? Rani Velu Nachiyar, a lady from Tamil Nadu who played a very important role in the earliest stage of Indian national movement. Although there was no concept of any nation or India as a whole, she was the first female leader to oppose or resist British rule, much before Rani Lakshmibai did. Okay, that was in the 18th century. I think it's not mentioned, but she took birth in the year 1730 and died in the year 1796. 66 years tak wo rahi. And this, the context is that why she is in the news, because Honorable Prime Minister paid tribute to Rani Velu Nachiyar on her birth anniversary. Okay, she resisted early British expansion, symbol of women leadership in freedom struggle and cultural remembrance and nation building effort. For example, if somebody just mentions Rani Lakshmibai, for example, a question can be asked in the UPSC GS mains that critically analyze the contribution of women in the earliest phase of Indian national movement or over the years. Many people just tend to mention Rani Lakshmibai or Rani Gaidin Liu from the Northeast India. You can also mention the important role that Rani Velu Nachiyar played. Okay, she was called Veeramangai in South India. That means the brave lady. Okay, and she was from a royal family, well-read. She was very much proficient in all the three languages of English, Urdu, and Tamil. And she also knew French. Okay, very important leader. And you can, maybe dedicated question is not going to be asked, but if a generic question is asked about the role of Indian women, you can mention her name and her contributions. Let's go through the quick updates. 7 of world's rarest frogs presumed dead due to phototourism. इसमें चीज़ है, many frog species are discovered and are in the news often, and most of these frogs are from the Western Ghats in India. But this news article is about a frog which is called galaxy frog, and galaxy frog looks something like this, as you can see from the pic. Galaxy, because as you can see its body is black just like the night sky, and these are like stars, white dots. That is how it got its name, galaxy frog. हुआ क्या? Although we are practicing and promoting ecotourism, that visit different places by paying due respect to nature, but that is not enough, because even if you don't dump plastic wastes, हम क्या करते हैं हर जगह पे जाके we have a tendency to take pics. ठीक है, कहीं कहीं पे हम सेल्फी लेते हैं, एंड होता क्या है, फोटो लेना, दिस इज कॉल्ड फोटो पोल्यूशन और फोटो टूरिज्म. कभी कभी हम लोग क्या करते हैं, मोबाइल फोन यूज करते हैं इन द जंगल एरियाज और इन द फॉरेस्टेड एरियाज. दैट is actually nuisance for the animals, wild animals. That in a way affects their habitat, their reproductive potential, and they are very shy creatures. The wildlife, most of the animals are very shy in nature. Even the ferocious animals like tigers and lions, they want to stay away from the mankind. So even if we are respecting nature by not dumping plastic waste and maintaining discipline, ये जो कैमरा का इस्तेमाल करना is adding to what you can say photo pollution, or so not photo pollution, this photo tourism is creating a lot of problems for species like galaxy frogs, जिसके कारण वो खत्म हो जाता है, उनका habitat destroy हो जाता है, and they experience or undergo extinction. It is presumed to be extinct because its visibility has come down. Amphibians, आपको पता है, there is this concept of food chain where an animal eats another animal and is eaten by another species. That is how the food chain is maintained. ठीक है, frog खाते हैं insects. If frogs disappear, the population of insects will grow. Okay, so they play the role of a key bioindicator. Amphibians are those living organisms which can live both in terrestrial atmosphere, on land and in water. They're both terrestrial and aquatic. The second news is about India-Pakistan exchanging lists of nuclear installations. Despite the strained relationship, it is mandatory for both the nations to exchange information related to their nuclear facility and installations. Why? There was an agreement in the year 1988. ठीक है, 1988 में agreement हुआ था, यहाँ पे लिखा है, जिसके तहत both the countries have to share information annually and information related to what? The nuclear warheads installations क्या क्या चल रहे हैं. And as per this agreement, even if there is a war between the two countries, they cannot attack each other's nuclear facilities. इतना तो दोनों respect करते हैं, ठीक है. They can use missiles but not nuclear weapons. Okay, nuclear warheads cannot be used. And this is actually a very good agreement because both are nuclear powers, and without any deterrence, both the countries can destroy each other using nuclear powers. And that's why, to put both the countries in check, this agreement came into being in 1988. Or abhi it's a part of India and Pakistan confidence building measure between nuclear neighbors. That means they have to keep each other in confidence कि हमारा nuclear facilities ये है, इस पे आप attack नहीं कर सकते, and the other country should also respect this agreement. This is based on mutual understanding. और कुछ है नहीं इसमें. Yes, India-Pakistan relations को लेके अगर question आता है, is there a possibility of nuclear war? Or if it's asked in the interview, you can mention this act. And this act is all about prohibiting the attacks against each other's nuclear facilities and installations. And it was signed in the year 1988. ठीक है? The next news is about NBA disburses 45 lakh to Red Sanders farmers. NBA क्या होगा? National Biological NBA हो गया आपका NBA National Biodiversity Authority, and it is a statutory body which came into being under the Biodiversity Act 2002. ठीक है. अब आपको पता है Red Sanders was in the news. It has always been in the news because of its illegal exploitation and cutting. There are wood mafia, jungle mafia, who illegally cut down these trees and sell those wood and other materials derived from the trees illegally in a market in which the government does not benefit. इस पे ना टैक्स लग सकता है ना कुछ हो सकता है अगर इलीगल एक्सप्लॉटेशन इसका हो रहा हो तो. इसलिए गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया, फार्मर्स को इंसेंटिवाइज किया कि वी विल पे यू द मनी, जस्ट ग्रो सच ट्रीज बट यू नॉट अलाउड टू सेल इट. ओनली द गवर्नमेंट कैन सेल इट और गवर्नमेंट परमिटेड सेलर्स कैन सेल. बट ड्यू टू द एफर्ट ऑफ द फार्मर्स द गवर्नमेंट गेव देम रादर NBA, ठीक है, जो आपका नेशनल बायोडाइवर्सिटी अथॉरिटी है, उनको पे किया था 45 लाख रुपीस. एंड दिस इज एज पर द कन्वेंशन ऑन बायोलॉजिकल डाइवर्सिटी कि कोई भी रिसोर्सेज आप यूज करते हो, फॉरेस्ट रिसोर्सेज, आपको उसका जो प्रॉफिट होता है, शेयर ऑफ द प्रॉफिट दैट यू ऑब्टेन हैज टू बी गिवन टू द प्रोड्यूसर्स और द कल्टिवेटर्स. उसके तहत द फार्मर्स रिसीव 45 लाख रुपीस. इट एक्चुअली इन अ वे इंसेंटिवाइजेस देम. अदरवाइज उनको पैसा नहीं मिलेगा तो दे विल लुक फॉर इलीगल बायर्स और सेलर्स and they will obtain money in an illicit manner. So to keep that in check, NBA gave 45 lakh rupees to the farmers. Okay. India ranks 8th in globally in pharmacovigilance. Pharmacovigilance क्या होता है? For example, you must have come across several illegal drug manufacturers who sell cough syrups, and India is also one of the largest exporters when it comes to pharmaceutical materials, starting from basic जो medicines होते हैं, cough syrups होते हैं. But India earned a bad reputation because of the quality of its cough syrups domestically and also abroad. But what is good, because of which India got this rank, is this thing. Monitoring अच्छी हुई है, because that is why the cases were reported. The adverse cases of illegal drug manufacturing were reported. So reporting, although it may sound slightly ironic ये होने के बावजूद भी how India managed to get this rank, but because of India's effort to bring to the light all those illegal drug manufacturers, India secured position 8. That is all about India's pharmaceutical sector. Nothing much to understand here. ये करता क्या? पेशेंट सेफ्टी एंड ड्रग रेगुलेशन. ठीक है. स्पेशली इन द दिल्ली NCR region, you must have seen there is this big racket of नकली दवा. Okay. फेक मेडिसिन, टैबलेट्स हो गए, कॉफ सिरप्स हो गए, ठीक है. बट इंडिया हैज़ अ गुड विजिलेंस मैकेनिज्म विच इज़ कॉल्ड फार्माकोविजिलेंस, जिसके कारण इंडिया को मिला 8th रैंक. एंड दिस अवार्ड वॉज गिवन बाय WHO, ठीक है. एंड इट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ WHO मेडिसिन सेफ्टी फ्रेमवर्क. कोई इसमें बहुत कॉन्सेप्चुअल चीज तो है नहीं. This is very interesting. We are all bothered by Delhi's air pollution, the air pollution in Delhi and NCR region. We're so far focusing on the PM, particulate matter, which is PM 2.5 and PM 10. We're not aware of the interlink between PM 2.5 and certain bacterial strains which can grow inside our body. As we already know, there is this existing challenge called AMR, antimicrobial resistance. And ये होता कब है? When the bacteria don't die despite the injection of antibiotics. ठीक है? This problem is further worsened by air pollution. How? The particulate matter that enters our body helps carry the bacteria and promotes their growth. And this has been proven by a study at the JNU, Jawaharlal National University. ठीक है? यहाँ पे एक स्टडी के तहत ये पता चला है कि the PM 2.5 and PM 10 they support or promote or create conducive environment for bacterial growth, which contribute to or further worsen the case of AMR, antimicrobial resistance. This is a very interesting point from the point of view of both mains and prelims. And ये किस केस में देखा गया? Staphylococcus, which is a type of bacteria which creates this condition of stye. आंखों में हो जाता है ना, there is some swelling in your eye and pus is generated, which is called stye. And ठीक है. And Staphylococcus is a bacteria which has the shape of grapes. ऐसे ऐसे करके रहता है ये. ठीक है. Staphylococcus. Coccus means circular. It is found in polluted air particles. So this link between Staphylococcus bacteria and PM has been linked and proven as per a study conducted by the JNU. Highlights pollution health governance nexus, strengthens urgency of clean air policies. Okay, this is a new aspect or new dimension of air pollution. Then states flag facility and testing gaps at Board of Trade meeting. इसमें क्या होता है? Because India at the central level and the state level, again the third news which is related to India's export and manufacturing sector, which I mentioned in the beginning. States एक meeting में complain की है कि many of their exports will be easily rejected by the export destination countries. जैसे आपको पता होगा, the European Union showed concern about Indian exports. Why? They're saying that your export is of poor quality. They don't meet international standards. And the states are saying the international standards can only be met if there are proper testing and certifying centers. कि आपके जो products है which are going to be exported are the proper quality, and these things can be proven in labs and testing centers. Okay, testing labs and testing centers. Challenges क्या हैं? Either the absence of testing labs and testing centers or the presence of testing labs far away from the manufacturing center, जिसके कारण एक बार फैक्ट्री में बनने के बाद the transportation takes a lot of time. Once the goods are produced, they have to reach the testing labs. So the proximity between the testing labs and the manufacturing units is actually a matter of concern. ठीक है, जिसके कारण quality assessment कैसे होगा? And only after proper quality assessment is done or quality quality is assessed, only then they will be ready for exports. Okay, export promotion requires state level capacity building. तो या तो बनाओ भी, the number of units needs to increase. At the same time, the proximity between the manufacturing units and testing labs has to be reduced. Okay, linked to India's export growth and trade facilitation. एक second last news है related to draft guidance for battery pack Aadhaar. We believe in circular economy because now EV are in vogue, electric vehicles and lithium ion based batteries, but बैटरी में बहुत सारे कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम द केमिकल्स यूज्ड. इफ दे आर सॉलिड स्टेट बैटरीज, देन सॉलिड कैथोड्स, solid anodes, and once it is used we have to dump it. That means we're using, and our usage is going to generate solid wastes. How to curb that? We have to start promoting the recycling of use of such electronic items, and which is the backbone of what we call circular economy. And this news is related to circular economy. That means जैसे we have our identity numbers, Aadhaar numbers, similarly Aadhaar numbers will be given to, assigned to battery packs, एक साथ जो battery आते हैं. That means using their Aadhaar numbers it can be checked how old the battery is and what is its current state. If it's defective or it's overused, it will be taken back, then it will be made fit for reuse. Lekin that can be done only if we can keep track of the batteries. So to improve battery traceability, we have come up with this concept. It is under consideration because the guidelines are draft guidelines. Again, we'll put our heads together and we'll check. But this is a very nice concept. Okay. To promote circular economy, we need to improve battery traceability, for which we need to assign numbers to battery packs, which is called battery pack Aadhaar number or BPN. And ये assign किसको होंगे? Not to all the batteries, only batteries which have capacity of greater than 2 kilowatt hour. इससे जो बड़े batteries होंगे उन्हीं के लिए applicable है. Okay, that's it. Last news, nothing important. Pragati platform, but Pragati platform is an important part of public service delivery system. Okay, to make sure the governance, I mean to ensure good governance, Pragati platform was initiated. Pragati platform में होता क्या है ना, जितने भी प्रोजेक्ट्स गवर्नमेंट के चल रहे हैं सबका रियल टाइम पे everything will be noted down, the progress of all the government run projects, and this is managed at a level, at 3 different levels, not at a level, at 3 different levels. ठीक है, at the top of which sits PMO, Prime Minister's office. नीचे आ गया यूनियन सेक्रेटरीज headed by the cabinet secretary. थर्ड पे हो गए चीफ सेक्रेटरीज. They also meet from time to time to discuss the progress of the government run projects. Okay, and this portal has different facilities. There will be there's a database which is managed. It also facilitates the communication between the national level secretaries and the state level secretaries, including the Prime Minister of this country. They can do video conferencing. Okay, so Pragati enables real-time project monitoring, resolves interministerial and state level bottlenecks, accelerates infrastructure and welfare delivery. Okay, so if there is a question on good governance, you can mention Pragati. Okay, Pragati platform. This is for improving good governance. So that was the last news, and I hope you have completed all the news articles. So now it's time, once the news, the discussion is over, 6 to 7 questions will be flashed on your screen. Take those questions, and as we keep encouraging, try to make the most of the digital current affairs initiative of Vision Eyes. Okay, wish you all the very best.